In one of our prior lessons, we talked about setting up your room, setting up the windows and the floor line, ceiling line, and wall lines. And we used the dimension tool to measure out that room setting. But this is not necessarily what you want to show your customer. So what I want to do is I actually want to take a copy of this room setting because I don't want to change this existing room setting with the dimensions. I want to keep a copy of it. So I highlight all of my components. I'm going to click on the copy icon here at the top, and I've created another canvas, and I'll paste that room setting right onto the second canvas. So that way I can start to add some wall color to this design, and I will still have maintained the original dimensions. So for on this canvas, I'm actually going to start deleting some of these dimensions because I don't necessarily want to show these to the customer. I want to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. You can see here I have 4 dimension lines, and I want to replace these lines and add some wall color. So in order to do that, I'm going to use my auto shape tools up here in my top toolbar, and I'm going to use this rectangle icon. I've highlighted my rectangle icon, and now I'm going to draw a rectangle right on top of those dimension lines. There. Now the rectangle has covered my windows. That's okay. I'm going to highlight the rectangle and I'll send it to the back by clicking on my order command here. Move to back. There. Now the next thing I want to do is I don't need those dimension lines anymore, and I can just go in, lasso each one, and start deleting them. And then I can start coloring that wall and adding any kind of molding. And then finish off, of course, with my treatment. So to color this wall, just highlight it with your mouse and treat it just as any other object. You can click on your properties box and double click on your color icon here, this gray box, and just start selecting a color. Now if I click away, notice that the rectangle box does not have an outline. If you highlight that box and look at your properties box, you will note that there is no what they call a stroke color on that box. That means there's no outline. So if you want an outline, just click on the color button. If I click away, you might be able to see there is that faint gray outline because gray is your default color. I'll click back on the box, and if I want to have a black outline, you can just double click on that stroke color box, and the palette opens up, and I can click on my black color, which is here in the lower corner, and hit the OK button. And if I click away, you will now see that black outline. If I want to add molding, I can draw my own molding in much the same way as I drew that wall and fill it with color and detail. But we also have some pre-drawn molding, so I'm just going to zoom out for a second, and I can go into my elevation templates here in my design library, and you see we have a moldings category, and I can just click on, here are my baseboard moldings, and if I drag that on, I'm actually going to drag on several molding styles, and I can just select the one that I want and move it right into place. And what I'm going to do is I will just select the rest of these and I can delete them. Alright, now I'm just going to zoom in and place that molding right where I want it. And I can shorten it. And if I want to have the bottom of the molding be at the same position as the bottom of the wall, I can, what I want to do first, I guess I want to highlight my windows and the wall and group them so that they move together as a unit. Now they've popped to the front. I'm going to move them to the back using my order command here. Now my molding is on top. Again, if I want the bottom of the molding to be even with the bottom of the wall, I'm going to highlight both the wall and the molding by keeping my shift key depressed. Then I can say up here, align the bottoms. There. Now they are exactly at the same level. And don't forget that you can always lock that wall in place if you don't want it to move before you start applying your window treatment on top of it. And you can see here I've actually finished off the wall with the treatment and changed the color a little bit, and you can see what a lovely presentation you can make for your client.